Guys, welcome to Small Farmer Life. Hope you're all having an awesome day. Well, it's a lovely day today, so I'm out working on my tiny farm. It's episode 2 in the tiny farm. As you can see, I've cut all the hawthorn down. They were all along the edge there. I didn't want to make a video of it because I didn't want the safety police on my case, but today, guys, I really want you to stick around and watch all of this video because there's some important information, especially if you're thinking about starting a small farm, a small holding, and you want to live on that small holding or that small farm, whatever you want to call it. First thing I want to talk about is if you're thinking about growing things and you've purchased a couple of acres, maybe you're going to have some free ranging hens, that sort of thing, always start small. Don't try and motivate a couple of acres of land to start growing vegetables on, salad greens and that sort of thing. You can't compete with supermarkets on potatoes and things like that. You want to be growing things that the locals want, but they're a little bit more expensive than potatoes in the supermarket. But the reason you want to start small is because you're going to need to learn your craft. The majority of us who want to start small holdings and small farms have never ever touched a fork unless you've had a allotment at some point, and you don't have a clue about growing stuff. Now, I watch lots of videos of people who've actually made it small farm and making £250,000 or dollars off half an acre or a quarter of an acre, and they do it because they're doing intensive permaculture, no dig systems, and they're just growing things that they can turn over pretty fast, microgreens, mushrooms, salads and that sort of stuff. Now, every time I watch these videos, and I watch them all the way through, which is what you should be doing, guys, the people, when they get interviewed, they're always asked, what do you wish you did differently when you first started? And I guarantee each and every one of them, when you watch these videos, if you watch any of these videos, they all say, I wish I started smaller. Because when you start a couple of acres and you're trying to grow on a couple of acres, it stretches you too far. Where this third of an acre, I bet you I could grow just as much stuff on this third of an acre as I could on a full acre, because I can put more time and energy into this third of an acre, and it'll be dead clean. It'll have wood chip paths, there'll be no weeds. If I see a weed, I'll pick it out. If I see a stone, I'll pick it up, and I'll concentrate just on this area. What I don't want is to be overstretched and trying to grow too much food on too much land and can't cope. You know, I'm going to be growing mushrooms in the grey shed, in the big wooden shed in the corner. As you can see, the lay land I have gone. And I'm going to be growing microgreens in a greenhouse in front of the grey shed. I'm going to have a big polytunnel here, then I'm going to have salad beds up and down this little piece of land. If I tried to start every single thing at once, I'd be totally overwhelmed. I'm on my own when I'm doing this. It was hard just to do that. I had to get someone in to help me to cut them hawthorn down. And this is what you need to understand as well. When you first start out, starting a small farm or a small holding, you probably want to live on that small holding or that small farm. And this is where people go wrong. Now, a guy commented in the comment section of one of my videos, I always have to come back to this video because he's in the beginning stages of starting a small holding and he's cleaning the area up like I'm cleaning this area up now. And a plot across from him, the first thing that somebody did, I don't know whether it was a single person or a couple, was move a big static caravan like that onto a nice green field. And what was the first thing that happened? Well, the council were phoned, local planning department come out, enforcement officer, and probably issued them a stop notice. And they had to remove the caravan straight away. Now, I'll tell you why this happens. Because locals who maybe knew the land was for sale have looked out of the window one day, seen a nice green field, and have seen a big white static caravan. Nothing else happening on that land whatsoever except for a big white static caravan being placed on the land. Those locals do not know if another 10 caravans are going to be moved onto that piece of land. They have no idea who owns that caravan, what that caravan's doing there. So the first thing to do is pick up the phone to the local council. And this is what you need to understand. This is why I always say, get all your fencing up, get your farm planned out, make sure you know what you're doing, because while you're working the land, you'll probably get locals visit the site or walk the dogs past the site and stop and talk to you. Now, you don't have to tell them you're going to be moving on there in the future, but you can tell them that you're going to be growing vegetables and salad greens and mushrooms, microgreens, and you're going to be selling them locally to the local community. And well, they might become customers later on down the line. So you need to understand that's how locals react and think when they see a caravan, and you don't want that. So start small and don't move a caravan on straight away. Now guys, when I say start small, if you don't learn everything you need to know about growing produce, growing mushrooms, microgreens, whatever it might be. Now, some people make a living off growing mushrooms in the spare room of a house, or microgreens in the spare room of a house under UV lights and that sort of stuff. So you can certainly make it if you've got a small holding, but you need to learn everything about it first. And then this is where the 3-year viability test will come in with a council, because once you've got your farm sorted out, you've got your utilities in, your electricity, your water, all your fencing's up, everything's set out, you've got your polytunnel up, you know, it's starting to look like a small holding. Now you can pull a caravan onto that piece of land. And if the council come out, then you can hit them with your business plan and why you need to be on the land. You might have some animals, some boar goats that you're using the milk from to make cheese and that sort of stuff. A load of free-ranging hens that you're selling the free-ranging eggs in with your salad boxes and that sort of stuff. Because in the first year when you start growing, you're probably not even going to sell anything. If you are, it's probably going to be to family and friends, and you're going to explain how you're growing for a box scheme. Maybe your target is 100 boxes a week, £7 a box. You're putting some free-ranging eggs in there. Maybe you're going to put some mushrooms in when you eventually get round to that. But you give them away to family, or you sell them to family, and they tell their friends who tell their friends. So in your first year, you're probably not even going to make any money. But what you don't want to be doing is messing around, building fences, getting your electricity put in, water and all that, because that takes time. And if you get your 3 years started off before you've got none of that done, well, you're going to waste a lot of time waiting for that to be done, and you're going to waste a lot of your 3 years, because your first year, like I say, you're not going to make any money. And then the second year, you'll probably get some customers from family and friends. You probably went around seeing the local restaurants, explain how fresh your salad greens are, that sort of stuff. Maybe you've started on one mushroom house or something, or maybe your microgreens. You supply in local restaurants, and then you've went round and seen locals in villages around where your land is based. And this is what the community wants to see. They do not want to see a massive static caravan on a field. They want to be able to understand what type of person you are. Are you going to be a nuisance in the area, or are you going to be an asset to the community? Being an asset to the community, and urban farming and small farms is how farming should be changing. Rooftop farms, the closer the food is to the customer, the better really. The more nutritional value in that food and produce is going to be if the locals are literally 10 minutes away from the farm. So growing locally is how farming should be changed, because it's a fact that small farms can feed more people locally than large farms. But if you can prove to your local community that you're going to be an asset, and like I say, some of them will stop and talk to you, want to know what you're doing. You don't have to tell them that you're going to be pulling a caravan or you're going to be living in a log cabin or anything like that, but you can tell them you're starting a smallholding, you intend on selling salad greens, vegetables, tomatoes and all that sort of stuff locally. Would they be interested if you came and seen them? Maybe you'll get some customers that way, they'll tell more people, and people are getting more aware of where the food comes from. You might not be using any pesticides, where you might have a little Facebook page or a website where they can go and read about how you grow your stuff, how your chickens are raised, how your goats are raised. If you've got some goats and you're making cheese from the goats, you might have planted an orchard that you're growing plums and you're making plum jam, that sort of stuff. All of that means a lot to the local community, and you're an asset to the local community, and the council are more likely to let you stay if you're doing that than if you think you can just pull a caravan onto a pastured field, a piece of pasture land. Just pulling a white caravan on is not going to fly with the council. If it did, every person who probably I know will be pulling caravans onto agricultural land, even if they were just going to use it on the weekend, and that's not what the council want to see. They don't want to see caravans all over the countryside. My caravan, you can't even see from the road no more, but my caravan, you can't see from the road, it's pointed that way, so the houses, when they look out, they just see the end of it, if they can see the end of it, because there's big trees in the way. But I get on really well with my neighbours. I've just been talking to my neighbour, and my neighbours actually encourage me to get my stables converted. My neighbours encourage me to move on this land. Well, one of them doesn't, but the rest of them all encourage me to live on this land. They know I'm living here and they don't care, they couldn't care less. They know what I'm trying to do. They know I'm an asset to the area. We lend each other tools. At the moment, my next door neighbour, he's got my farm trolley over there, and he'll be lending me that huge digger. I don't know if you can see it, but it's over the back there, to pull out these stumps. All my friend's going to come out and pull out them stumps, and then I'm going to use it for those big rocks to put round the pond, because those rocks, some of them weigh about a ton, half a ton, and the big digger will place them nicely around the pond. But yes guys, honestly, it's really important you start small. It's really important you get your farm set out. It's really important that the locals understand what type of person you're going to be in the local community, that you're not going to just move a caravan onto the land and then next thing you know you've got a load of broken down cars, a load of crap all around the caravan. It's become an eyesore. They want to see you becoming a smallholder, and if they stop and talk to you and you tell them that's what you're going to do and they see you doing it, trust me, they'll support you. And that's what you want. You want support for when you do eventually try to get a house built on the land. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, and you should subscribe, and you want to see how this tiny farm gets on, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified of all the upcoming videos, hit the bell button. Thanks again to all my patrons. Couldn't thank you guys enough, supporting the channel. Every little helps, putting it in to my small farm. As always guys, my name's Craig. You've been watching A Small Farmer Life. Make sure you take care of yourself. Most of all, take care of the family. Be genuine. Bye for now. See you.